This is the Generac 8000W gas-powered portable generator, the GP8000 ECO, finished in that bold orange and black with a sturdy metal roll cage around a big 7.9-gallon fuel tank. It has chunky, solid wheels and a fold-down locking handle that lets me tip it back and roll it without much fuss. The control panel sits neatly on one side with clearly labeled outlets, an electric start key switch, and protective covers. It looks and feels like a piece of equipment meant to live outdoors and take a beating, which matches how I use it. From my experience, this unit earns its heavy-duty label. I bought it to cover storm outages at home and to power gear at events. During outages, I run it through a proper manual transfer switch hooked up to the 120 240-volt 38 twist lock outlet, which is a round connector that secures the plug so it doesn't wiggle loose. With that setup, I can safely feed selected household circuits without backfeeding the line. I've kept the fridge, deep freezer, Wi-Fi, lights, a gas furnace blower, or a single central AC and some outlets going at the same time, as long as I'm smart about what turns on together. The rated 8,000 running watts and 10,000 starting watts give me breathing room for appliances with motors that spike on startup. That spike is where Generac's PowerRush comes in. Key features for me are that PowerRush helps handle those short bursts when a compressor or well pump kicks on and the generator doesn't stumble or trip a breaker. If you've never used a generator like this, here's a quick breakdown in plain terms. Running watts are what the machine can supply steadily, and starting watts are a short burst for a few seconds to get motors spinning. GFCI outlets on the panel are like the protected outlets you see in bathrooms. They help reduce shock risk if there's a ground fault. The 120 240-volt 38 twist lock is what most transfer switches use for home backup. And 60 Hz just means it matches standard US household frequency, so your equipment runs correctly. Starting the GP8000E is refreshingly simple. The electric start with a key means I'm not yanking a pull cord every time. I keep the battery topped off, flip the fuel valve on, set the choke when it's cold, and it fires up quickly. It also has a recoil backup starter, which I've used a couple of times just to test it. In my opinion, the electric start alone makes this far more approachable for someone who's never owned a generator. Fuel use has been reasonable for the power it provides. The 7.9-gallon tank and an efficient 439cc four-stroke engine give me up to about 11 hours at half load, which lines up with how it's spec'd. In practice, I can get through an overnight stretch without refueling when I'm only running essentials. If I add heavier loads, that runtime drops, but it's still respectable. I use fresh gasoline with a stabilizer, and I try to run it monthly for a few minutes to keep things ready. If you're new to this, that just helps prevent varnish buildup in the carb. The manual is clear enough, and getting parts and accessories has been easy. Noise-wise, I'll be straight about it. It's not quiet. It's a big 8-kilowatt gas unit with a lot of grunt. I'd compare the sound to a riding mower or a loud push mower. I position it outdoors, well away from windows and doors, and I aim the exhaust away from the house. That's also where COsense matters. COsense is Generac's built-in carbon monoxide monitoring system. If it senses dangerous CO levels around the unit, it shuts the engine down. That doesn't replace safe placement, but it's a solid safety net. Combine that with low oil shutdown, and I feel better about running it for long periods. On portability, the truth is it's heavy at around 214 pounds. It's not something I'm lifting into a truck by myself, but the large wheels and the handle make moving it across the driveway or yard very manageable. I roll it from the shed, park it on a flat surface, chalk the wheels if I'm on a slope, and it stays put. The build feels tough, the frame doesn't flex, and the panels don't rattle. The outlets are set up to cover the usual needs. I use the two GFCI 120-volt duplexes for tools and extension cords, and the 120 240-volt 38 twist lock for the home transfer switch or a food trailer hookup. The outlet covers help keep debris out when it's sitting around. I like that it has 5 total outlets and that they're clearly labeled so I don't have to squint at the panel in bad weather. From my experience, the power quality has been solid. Lights don't flicker, my fridge cycles normally, and sensitive devices don't act weird. I still use an appropriate surge protector for electronics, and I charge phones and laptops through a good power strip. For anyone new to generators, remember that a long extension cord can drop voltage, so use heavy gauge cords and shortest lengths practical. There are a few trade-offs. It's not light, and it's not whisper quiet. There's no remote start on this model, which would be nice on cold mornings. It also doesn't have a 50 amp outlet, so if you were hoping to plug in an RV with a 50 amp service directly, you'll need to plan around that. For my uses, the 30 amp twist lock through a transfer switch covers everything I care about. The weight is worth it to me for the durability and output, but I'm realistic about needing help if I have to load it into a vehicle. I do wish Generac included a built-in battery tender port because keeping the start battery topped off matters, especially if it sits between storms. I handle that by charging the battery a day before any big weather. Maintenance has been straightforward. I did the initial oil change early, checked the air filter, and I keep extra oil on hand because this engine will protect itself by shutting off on low oil. The drain and fill access points are decent. I also keep the fuel shutoff valve closed when it's stored, and I run it dry if I know it'll sit for a long time. If you're new to this, that just helps prevent varnish buildup in the carb. The manual is clear enough, and getting parts and accessories has been easy. It's perfect for homeowners who need reliable backup power, anyone working remote job sites who wants a simple, tough unit, and folks running small food trailers or pop-up events who need a steady 120/240 supply. I've powered a trailer's refrigeration and lights with the 240-volt option, and it didn't break a sweat. If you're in storm country, this is the kind of machine that buys you peace of mind when the grid goes down. In my opinion, the sweet spot here is the blend of output, ease of use, and safety. Electric start reduces frustration, PowerRush smooths out startup surges, and COsense adds a layer of protection. The steel frame, the solid wheels, and the long runtime all point to a generator built for real use, not just a spec sheet. The price you pay is weight and noise, and the missing extras like remote start. If those are acceptable trade-offs, the rest of the package makes a lot of sense. I'd recommend this for anyone who wants a dependable, well-built gas generator that can run multiple appliances or a set of house circuits during an outage without constant babysitting. If you have a manual transfer switch and a plan for load management, it's a great fit. If you're in California, make sure to check compliance details because this model is listed as 49 state compliant. Everywhere else, fuel it with fresh gas, give it a flat spot with good airflow, and it should serve you well. In conclusion, the Generac 8000W gas-powered portable generator has done exactly what I needed it to do: start easily, run for a long time, handle motor surges, and keep my household comfortable when the lights go out. It's not fancy, but it's tough, it's straightforward, and it feels like a tool I'll keep for years. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Generac 8000W gas-powered portable generator.